know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. This is our post-game reaction show after this too close Sunday Night Football game against the New York Jets. Obviously coming away with a 23-20 win. I'm sorry for all you guys out there, all you bettors who had the Chiefs covering 9.5 points. That's a bit of a heartbreaker. Mahomes sliding there at the 1 yard line. Obviously, Mahomes doesn't care about your bets or our bets or your lines, but he comes away with a win. So if you took the Chiefs money line, congratulations for that. But obviously, yeah, we all thought 17-0 right at the gate. We thought we were going to win this game pretty handily. So obviously, there's a lot of things to tackle here. Obviously, offensive struggles, defense being on the field the entire game and really not creating any pass rush or pressure and kind of letting Zach Wilson look like Chad Pennington or Vinny Testaverde in his prime. But yeah, so let's begin with the offensive struggles. JD, what would you say the root of some of, I guess, Mahomes' underthrows, just the offense not looking in rhythm? After those first 3 drives, it looked like something completely switched and something changed. What happened?
I'll tell you what, I think it was a combination of a few things, actually. One of the things I believe happened just where he wasn't feeling comfortable, and it was a lot of pressure coming up the middle. And so sometimes when you have a series of things that do happen to you, right, like you go from, the holding call, getting the safety in the end zone, and then coming back, then you get the throwing the interception at the end. It just kind of snowballs you, right? And I don't care who it is, it does affect you. It really does. And so I think part of it was they started feeling a little bit more of those guys getting up from the outside, the guys coming up in the inside. And I said this was going to be a great test for our offensive line. I said that. And so that's one thing they wanted to make sure. They wanted to make sure that Patrick wasn't comfortable. They was going to bring a little bit more pressure up the middle. And they was going to leave it on the guys on the outside to try to make plays. And so thank God that Pacheco had the day that he had. I mean, he was absolutely incredible out there. But I do believe that might have been part of the problem, was just getting into that rhythm, that sync of, getting guys and making movements and change. And it's like anything else. It's like a running back who's getting carries. Once he gets into sync, he starts feeling like that rhythm. He starts going. Same thing has to happen with Patrick Mahomes if guys are not catching footballs and getting open for him.
Teja, what were your takeaways from what you saw offensively, why things just weren't kind of clicking for us after those first 3 drives?
We met late last week or late this week. We were talking about how this is going to be a dirty game where their front 4, the Jets, could get pressure and drop everyone else back and prevent the deep plays. Now Mahomes is going to have to stay patient. Don't get impatient because the long play is not there. Take what's there and go. It just looked like the first drive, we had the really big – not the first drive. The first touchdown, we had the really long run by Pacheco. So that kind of blew it open. We had the long 33-yarder from No Gray. So we got kind of spoiled with that. We didn't really have like normal drives for us, like long drives. And then they tightened up, and it took us a long time to readjust to it. It looked like Mahomes was still going for that big play over and over and over again, and he wasn't taking it. Finally, there was I think there was a start of the fourth quarter where you could just tell it was like, okay, short game enabled. They're just doing stick routes, curl routes, like quick outs, like just doing it dink and dunk, the old Alex Smith way, right? Just dink and dunk all the way down the field, pick up some yards, let your guys get some yak, man. That's what these guys are good. We got Rice for his yak. Let Kelsey get his yak. So I think we started to play our game when we adjusted a little more, when he got a little more settled in, and we can mix the short plays, get manageable third downs. And Pacheco was awesome. I mean, I can't say enough about his performance. The only thing I can say, if I'm going to be a jerk about Pacheco's performance, and he did fix it. Dude, stay in bounds, just like slide if you have to. He did it that second time.
Yeah.
He took 2 guys out with them, like a baseball slide, like second base. But like stay in bounds, man. But that's pretty much my only problem with him. But the other thing I was going to say is, you could see in the beginning of the game where Mahomes was telling Sky, I think it was Sky, to come to the ball a little more.
Yeah, to come back to the ball. He kind of rounded his route a little bit.
Well, yeah, he went straight for like the sideline, whereas he had about a yard and a half for the first down marker. He could have came back for it and still gotten the first down. And he just waited for it, went straight to the sidelines. I think that's just going to have to happen. I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, like we've seen Mahomes come and dominate so fast at a young age. We think he's just like this young buck, and he is young by NFL quarterback standards. But like, he needs to coach these guys in the field. We have a lot of young, inexperienced receivers, and he needs to come and coach these guys, tell them where to be, where he needs them. He's gonna have to just keep doing this all season until these guys get grown up.
Who was that you're talking about? Who's
Mahomes just coaching? I mean, all of them really. I mean, Guy, Rashee Rice, take your pick. Everyone but MVS, but MVS pretty much runs like flies, so it's gonna be really hard to coach him on anything else. But everyone else, he's got to coach and tell him where he wants him, where he needs him, and they got to do it.
Well, I think part of the adjustment is it is about trust, right? And so I even seen it was one where Travis and Patrick was off on one. It looked like he was trying to run the tight end juke, and he was going to go right back out. And so Patrick thinks he's going to keep going across C.J. Mosley's face, and it was almost an interception on that. So it was just a little bit out of sync. And sometimes, man, in a game like this, like I said, get into a rhythm where you're not necessarily pushing the ball down the field. If you're not doing what you're used to doing, is throwing the ball. And I think sometimes Patrick was looking, to hold the ball just a little bit too long sometimes. We've seen that. And I hate when he's doing it because he's getting shots on it. And that's the thing about it. Guys are going to tee off catching him when he's holding the ball a little bit too long. But, yeah, man, look, these – and also, too, one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take away from the Jets' defense, okay? They got a good defense, okay? Let's just bottom line.
Yeah.
I said this was going to be the one that was going to be the biggest challenge so far for us as an offense. And so we need to see the wide receiver step up against this great Jets defense. So we knew they had it from defensive line. We knew we had the great linebackers. We knew they had a good secondary. And so they showed that tonight, not to mention the crowd behind them the whole time. And so when you start getting that momentum, those things are important, especially in a game like this. They're very important. Look, and I know that Jets, that whole stadium, I played against some jokers, it gets loud up there. Them fans do not like you at all. And so, if they boo the Jets, you know what they're going to feel like they're booing, the Chiefs. So it gets a little difficult. But make no mistake about it, the Jets played a good defense. I mean, they did. They played good defense tonight. And they knew that we also live in that middle realm of like where Travis Kelce is, right? Pat was trying to make a couple of throws over the top, and they knew that. That's the beauty of like doing film work, of understanding, okay, look, this is where these guys love to live. When Patrick extends with his legs, he likes to catch those soft areas of the defense. Well, they got linebackers to get back fast enough. C.J. Mosley got back because he seen Travis Kelce. I mean, he opened up and ran, okay? I'm talking about this is a long joker. It's got good stride. It can run with anybody in the NFL. And they got our way back and, man, just caught that ball. Other teams not doing it. But I will say this. I do commend Andy Reid them kind of putting some a little mustard to the running game. I do love that part of it.
Yeah.
We needed it.
It won it for us. I mean, let's just be honest. That won it for us right there, the running game. Whether it was Pacheco making yards with his legs or, all at the end, Patrick doing it, right? Because then they just sat back and Patrick's like, well, shoot, if it's wide open, let me just go straight down the field as opposed to go east and west. Let me go north and south right here. So that when you have a defense that's playing that soft, you got to take advantage of it. And Patrick did. He got us the W.
Yeah. The Patrick Mavick experience at the end of the game.
I want to say this too, Took. I mean, I totally get fans saying, relax. We're 3-1. We're good. We're Super Bowl defending Super Bowl champions. I'm not freaking out about like beating the Jets by 3. I'll take an ugly win. I'll take a beautiful win. I'll take a blowout. I'll take a last-second game victory, whatever, right? Against anybody. The thing that scares me as a Chiefs fan about these kind of games is we played a one-sided team. They're really good defensively, and they've been terrible offensively. Okay, we played the Bears, who aren't really good at anything right now. So when we play a balanced team eventually that has a good defense and a good offense, which probably the best example of that so far this season is the Lions, and we lost that game. So I'm worried about when we play equally balanced, good offense and defenses. This is a good test for one side of the ball, but even a bad offense score on us a lot, way too often. That was Zach Wilson's best game of the season, and I don't want to be the team that gave Zach Wilson his best game of the season. So, I'm not being pessimistic about them. I'm happy we won. I'm happy to move on. It's amazing. But you got to look at this and be like, there's some loose ends that need to be figured out. That's all.
Well, I think we need to address that, though. I think, Zach played a pretty decent game, but we talked about this. We had to bring pressure on Zach Wilson, right? Him being happy feet and stuff like it, making him uncomfortable, he's a bad quarterback. He just is. And sometimes we just didn't really bring that pressure. When we was rushing 4, we wasn't hitting home. At the very beginning of it, I think Kalafkas might have had a sack. A couple guys might have had sacks on Zach Wilson. They got out of him. And so all of a sudden, these guys are sitting over here and they're a little tired. But we need to bring pressure. That's Spags. That is his forte. When he's bringing guys from where you're not expecting him to bring it, that's tough for him. And so what ended up happening, when he started running 4 and nobody's getting any pressure, he sits back there. Now he's got a little bit more time to throw. And when you especially running man on a guy, then you see Wilson starting to catch balls. Lazard going up there making plays. Conklin making plays. The other tight end they had making plays. And so that's what ended up happening because now Zach Wilson's like, well, look, I got a little bit more time to throw this football because I'm not necessarily getting that pressure. And so it seemed like we went up about 17 points, and all of a sudden everything just kind of changed. We got to have a defense scheme as far as like what we do best. And I would have just, if I was Spags, I would have kept bringing pressure all game. I was like, look, we are not going to let this guy sit back there and pick us apart. And look, we know Zach Wilson can throw the football. We know that. I don't care if you're a capable quarterback. If you got time to throw the ball, you should be able to make some throws that get guys open. Guys should be able to catch. So I think our defense, man, just kind of the scheme toward the end of it. I didn't really like it, to be honest with you. I think we just kind of softened up a whole lot. Guys did look tired out there. I mean, that looked tired on offense and defense. Mm-hmm. So, that comes in with just traveling too. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have to figure that after those first 3 drives when it was the defense kept going out there, the turnovers, the 3 and outs, defense was constantly out there. Yeah, the schemes were also, I think I saw King Felix out in coverage at one point during the game. I was like, what's going on here? I want King Felix rushing the passer. I don't want King Felix dropping in coverage. Yeah. But JD, you mentioned the tight ends. And that's something I noticed throughout the game. The tight ends were kind of eating us up. What did you notice from our defense that was allowing their tight ends to kind of eat us up throughout the game?
Big chunk plays.
Yeah. You know what? To be honest with you, I think defensively they look at, can we cover the guys in the middle, right? And so that's what they're always going to try to attack. We know we got great corners, okay? I think our safeties do a pretty good job. But they also know that maybe one of Reed's not his strong suits, and maybe like covering tight ends, okay? He's not, I would say, 100% cover guy. And so they know, look, let's go after their corners, or let's go after their safeties. Let's go after safeties and some of the linebackers. I think Drew Tranquil was in a great position, but they just going to throw some up and let a guy make a play. And a lot of that came in because there wasn't any pressure on Zach Wilson. And so what Zach was able to do is he's able to kind of pick and throw the ball where he wanted to. And so if you're an NFL tight end, I don't care what it is, they're going to give you a chance and give you a shot to go make a play. So it's like, my guy's going to be better than your guy on this play. And they'll take that chance, all right? It's a 50-50 ball. Why not? Why not try it? And so, Conklin's not a slouch by no means. But I think sometimes defensively, if you're looking at how we play tight ends, we know majority of the time safety is going to be on it, right? That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, it continues with the trend that outside the Bears game last week, tight ends have just been kind of eating us up. Ingram kind of ate us up. Laporta ate us up. And kind of all three of these guys.
All of them
did their thing.
Every time I looked up, I was like, geez, man, how many tight ends do they have on their roster? And they're all doing it. Everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
And we were losing a lot of the key offensive team statistics going into that last drive. We were losing first downs. We were losing time of possession. We were losing third down efficiency percentage. We were losing a lot of those.
Yeah.
And then that last drive, sealed it for us. And we just now it all looks great. You look at the last, what a last drive can do for your takeaway team statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We finally had a sustained drive, the 3rd and 22, converting on a lot of the third downs and keeping our defense on the field for a good while. And it was the first time that happened since the first quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, okay. So when I'm looking over here at just the receptions itself. So Kadarius Toney had 2 for 22 yards. Valdes-Scantling had 1 for 6. He got the pass interference call on him. Okay. Justin Watson had 1 for 5. Edwards-Helaire had 1 catch. Everything else, Travis Kelce had 6. Pacheco had 3. Mo Gray had 1. Rasheed Rice had 3. I mean, Sky Moore, 0 catches.
No McKinnon either.
No McKinnon.
Yeah.
So,
you were using Pacheco a lot in those passing downs.
And there was a few times when Pacheco got blown up as far as being the pass protector. And I was like, why isn't McKinnon in here at this point? He can be kind of a little bit of everything. And Pacheco's getting run to the ground at that point. He was kind of gassed. Let McKinnon do his thing. That's his niche role.
Also, no, we were 0 for 4 in the red zone. That's big.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have scored the last drive if we wanted to. Obviously, Pat slid, but before that, we were still 0 and 3. So
yeah, there was one down there I thought they should have went for. I was like, why don't you go for this one? I think it might have been maybe 3rd and went to 4th and 3 or something like that. And I'm just like, why don't you just go for it, Andy? Why not? If I have any confidence, these guys, PM15, Travis, and somebody making a play, I'm just going to go ahead and try for it. Okay. I think it was 4th quarter. I'm not exactly sure what part of the game it was, but in the 4th, but I'm a guy, I'm going to trust my offense, man. Go for it. Go ahead and go for it. Especially if you hadn't had that much success passing the ball. We do a great job of out leveraging defense and stuff like that, man. I just, put it in the hands of the playmakers. Go ahead and do it. So.
Yeah.
I was about to freak out to that Kelce 3rd and 1 play, by the way, if that didn't work. The handoff.
The one to McKinnon.
Yeah, I was about to lose it after that one. He almost lost that snap.
Yeah. I mean, Mahomes almost lost that snap too. Luckily, he got the first down out of it, but it wasn't a clean game by any means.
Really close to losing that game.
Yeah, and also I'm seeing, and this is something we've talked about on the show before. We're not getting the ball to a lot of our guys, and people are saying Justin Ross. We're big Justin Ross fans, but we're not even getting the ball to Sky Moore. I mean, I think I saw maybe a few snaps for Justin Ross tonight, but JD, would you say the offense, as far as the passing game, really has an identity right now?
No, not at all. I think that, you still got young guys trying to figure everything out, and so this is part of the growth process. It really is. This is, I seen that they were talking about suffering. So we got to suffer with these young guys, learning the system, getting better, getting open, knowing what Patrick wants. Like you said, Patrick teaching these guys about, hey, this is what I want out of this play. But it has to be, I can't have, my guys who are really relative, my 1 and 2, which is Sky Moore and MVS, disappearing in games. I can't have that. Okay. MVS, you're supposed to be our top, one of our guys. Sky Moore, you got to be one of our guys. And if I don't see y'all guys making plays, then that, to me, that's complete disarray as far as offense. So like what you're trying to do with the wide receiver room. Seriously. So those guys out there's got to be better. They have to be better. I'm sure they understand that. But it's one thing to say it, you got to do it. It's all about it's all about results, man. It's results in the NFL. So I don't care if you're getting paid $10 million, if you ain't catching footballs, what are you getting the money for, right?
Yeah. Rashee Rice, another game with a drop. I feel like he has to start each game with a drop, and he's gonna be all right after that. He just gets it out of the way, and he's all right after that. I mean, it's kind of nuts that most of his drops have come on his first target, and then like he's fine after that. I don't know, Jay. Is that just a mental thing? What is that? I know he's a young buck, so like I'm not scared about it, but like it's just weird. It's usually the first target he drops it, and then after that he's all systems to go after that.
It might be that a little bit of nerves, and so it might just take that one, like you said, to drop it. And sometimes it took me to get that first hit, the first lick, to kind of get my juices flowing where I needed to go. And we almost seen it in Pacheco. Pacheco, he wasn't hitting the hose like he needed to when he first started. He was so juiced up that he couldn't even see the hose. He was just running and hitting. And it was just almost like he was in college. He was just running behind the backs of the linemen. And I'm sitting there thinking like, yo, this guy needs to just calm down, okay? That way you can help your vision out. And soon we hit that one on the side, I'm like, there we go. Sometimes it just takes that. It really does. And to be honest with you, man, that feeling, and I'm talking about you are on 10 through 12, like energy just coming out of you. You know what I mean? I mean, I had to, like myself, almost had to run it off at the very beginning of the warm-ups. So my coach was like, man, look, Jason, I got to get it out of the warm-ups because I was just so juiced up in my mind because everything, you just ready to go. So maybe that's it, man. Maybe with Rice. But we need him. We need Rice.
Yeah. I love that yak, man. That one where he caught right when he turned around on that stick and Mahomes hit him the second he turned around. And he was ready and then turned right around and got like another 7 or 8 yards on yak on that one.
Yeah.
Great.
So we talked about the pass catchers and stuff. Juwan Taylor, the offensive line, what are we seeing from the offensive line? We'll get into the penalties. I have the officials as its own segment here, but what are you seeing from the offensive line, JD? What did you see tonight that impressed you, maybe on the run game, or didn't impress you?
Okay, two things. So I'll start with the run. I think they did a pretty decent job with the run. I'm still seeing a lot of not coming off on second level on the double teams. Okay, that the fit of it is not as clean and crisp as I want it to be. Because when you're double teaming, if I got half a man, my eyes need to be on the second guy that I'm going to go get. Okay, so immediately when this guy that's beside me is taking over, I got to feel him, but I got to make sure he's getting enough for him so I could come off to the second level. There were some of those that wasn't necessarily working as clean as it should, so they still need to clean that part of it up. Trey Smith blocking, he was knocking some heads off. There was one, I think, on the third down. We tried to have Rashee Rice block Johnson on the edge. I'm like, okay, don't ever do that again. All right, please. He was trying to block a defensive end. He didn't know what he wanted to do. And Johnson just ran through him like, man, he was a knife through hot butter. So you got to pick and choose who's going to do the blocking. If you don't have a guy in there who's willing to do the blocking, you need to get him up out of there. Pass protection. We had a lot of pressure up the middle, and I knew because the D-line, as good as they are, they was going to do that. It's going to bring it. We have an issue and a problem. Now, I've seen that they've seen this on tape with the ET stunts. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're splitting between the guard and the tackle, trying to bring up there and bring the defensive end around through the A gap. And so they did a lot of that, man. So the ET stunts was kind of getting home. It was, and what you want to do with that is you just want to get pressure. You just want to be able to just break up that double team as much as possible. And so that's what a lot of that where Patrick was flushing outside is because of the ET stunts. And so we got to do a much better job of passing those things off. And so part of that is as a tackle, you're in, out. It's that communication. So we know that we're on the same level. So we're not blocking on one level, and other guys on blocking. That's how you split the double team. Juwan Taylor, look, he's had a rough go at it the past few weeks. I think he still does a good job. The one in the end zone was a bad call by the officials. It was a bad call. It really was. Okay, I'm not saying he didn't pull his face mask. I think when they said the rule of the play, right? Once they explained the rule, I'm like, well, shoot, then he was definitely in the field of play, and it shouldn't have been a safety. So they should have done a much better job reviewing that, not to make that call. And I had a problem with you get three guys together, they were talking. Okay, y'all should do a better job of making that more clear what y'all saying. Somebody should be able to look at that and say, no, you know what, that's not correct. It shouldn't be a safety. So I just some of the calls, man, I just don't like. Just because of the things he's been through the series of the last 3 games, it's going to be more pronounced with him. We know that it's going to be more glaring every time something happens with 74. But man, it's somewhat. I started out giving him an 8. I think I got down somewhere around maybe a B- with the O-line. Okay, B-, C+ maybe. I don't know. B-.
Well, we'll let you mull that over overnight. Maybe tomorrow might go even lower.
Yeah, when I go over
on it.
Yeah. So B. I'm giving him a B right now. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm at. All right.
But there are some. I mean, so there's the safety, and then there was the horse collar that ref that was on the call said that wasn't a horse collar. But there are some positives with the O-line. Juwan Taylor, no alignment issues tonight, no false start issues tonight.
True.
So those are positives, right? So at least something what you talked about, JD, that you needed to correct, and he obviously said it last week that I'm going to correct it. Something I have to clean up, and I mean, look, that obviously got to him. There was none of those penalties. So
that's positive. So we'll build on that, right? Great job getting your alignment together. Make sure you won all sides. Beautiful. Okay. Now we'll still work on that as far as because that's still an adjustment because now you got to get out of your set. You got to kick step all the way back there. Okay. And the best pass rush, man, he got around and when he held his face mask. I mean, Juwan just didn't get out of his stance fast enough. That was that, and that's something you just got to keep working. So he's gonna keep getting better. But man, look, it's game 4. Okay, and I know sometimes, like I said before, I keep going back to what it was last year with the young DBs. We had to deal with that, their growth area, and them getting to a point where they're much better. And so offensively for the wide receivers, as much as we hate to see it, what they're going through, we definitely need to get those guys going. We need to get those guys going. And so hopefully these next few weeks, we'll start to see a little bit more progress. But it is a question. I'll ask this. Do anybody, I'm looking out here on the chat too, does anybody feel like we need to go out there and get another guy in the building? That's my question. What do y'all think? Do we think we need to get another guy in the building or what?
I mean, as far as going out and trading for someone, or maybe even picking up a guy like Jarvis Landry or something like that.
Exactly. Either way, whatever. I don't care how it looks like. Sure, I don't care if you get him out the street if he's caught some balls or something. What do you think?
Teja, do you have an opinion on this one? I have an opinion, but I'll look. You go first.
Right now, not yet, because I don't want to sign somebody and then the possibility of trading for someone better doesn't happen because we already just signed someone prematurely before we knew what we really needed out there. I'd rather wait a little while longer. And like you said, JD, these are young guys, and I think Mahomes has to work with them for a little bit first. We could have made a case last year to go after someone too, and we didn't in the end, right? So, I think we should wait a little while longer. Sorry.
I agree with that for the fact that right now it's only week 4, right? So, and a team that in maybe 2 or 3 weeks may be like, all right, we're not going anywhere this year. Now we can get some more guys who maybe right now aren't ready to do that. In a couple of weeks, maybe they'll want to do that. And I see Mike Evans, but right now it's looking like he has a hamstring injury right now, but also they're looking like they're doing something over there. In that division.
They don't want to lose him.
No,
come on.
That wouldn't make any sense. They're trying, they're selling and they're winning.
Yeah. As far as I don't know, JD, we've talked this before about the whole Andy Reid playbook. Why I remember a couple of years ago why in season we didn't want to go get OBJ because of the playbook and how that's something that with Andy Reid's playbook specifically, that's something that's kind of hard to learn. Just jump right in there and learn that in the middle of the season. And if we are waiting, let's say wait till week 7 or week 6 to make a trade, middle of the season, we're going to sign a guy and he's going to have to kind of learn the ropes midway through the season. I don't know. I just feel like that's something we should have done in the off season. We didn't, and we talked about doing it. We never did it. We drafted a receiver in the 2nd round, and we kind of went with the young guys that we have, and they're still young. I mean, everyone talks about Justin Ross. He's technically a rookie. Yeah, he was, in the building last year, learning the plays and stuff, but he's still rookie as far as playing, and to expect him to come out right at the gate and do stuff, it's kind of a tough ask.
it's going to be kind of similar to what he's dealing with now with rookies. You're going to have to tell that guy where to be, where to go, and how to look for his ball. That's what we're dealing with now.
It's a little bit different with veteran guys because a lot of things translate over just terminology-wise. You just learn terminology. And sometimes it's just concepts and whatnot. And so certain systems, guys kind of you mimic. There's a lot of guys that do the same systems in certain different ways. So I'm sure with somebody who's a veteran receiver might be able to get it down. I think it'd be a lot easier for a guy like that who might have played like 8 to 10 years of saying like, that the basic cross is that's jet or oxy or something like that, whatever we used to call it. So it's just different terminology. And so once you get a guy to understand it and see what you're doing vision wise, older guy be like, I got it. Yeah, it's not too hard. So you give them like small bites if that's the case. That's just if that's the direction you're going, right? You just give him little small bites of what you want him to do. Let him just do that for like the first week, second week, third week, whatever, and he'll fit in. He'll fit right in, So
Kadarius Toney was supposed to be going into the season. Mahomes was talking about him like he was going to be our number one receiver, and you from experience, JD, you had the injury that he had, the recovery aspect of it. It's week 4 right now. He got a couple targets tonight, got a couple targets last week. He's not really getting that volume that a wide receiver 1 gets, or even on the field play. He's not in there half the time. I'm like, where's Tony? He's not even in the game right now. Is this still they're working him back slowly? Because that's the thing, too. I don't want to go out and get a number 1 receiver if we still can make him be a number 1 guy.
Yeah, I think so. I think they are kind of working him back slowly. And I question the same thing until I seen him in there catching the ball. I'm like, okay, well, shoot, then they are trying to get him in a little bit. But I do think of it as, him just being healthy. That's the whole thing about it, is you don't want to do too much volume on him where you know that you're destroying the knee and having a setback. Small doses. Just give him small doses. Hey, look, we're going to give you about 10 to 15. That's what you're going to look at right now, Kadarius. And so he's like, okay, cool. I'm fine with that. So he'll help us. He'll definitely help us.
So I'm going to ask your question right back to you, JD. Do we go out and get somebody? Should we?
Like I told you before, I love being patient like I did with the secondary. And so I think you need to give these guys a little bit more leeway to kind of make mistakes, kind of learn a little bit more. And I think Kadarius Toney is going to help us out, the healthier he gets. But I think you have to almost go in, like you said, Patrick going into that meeting room and saying, hey, look, and we do 7-on-7 anyway. We got tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, all in 7-on-7 regardless, okay, with Nagy and all those, offensive coordinator. But they'll be talking about it. They'll be talking about what they see. What did you do on this play? Why did you do it? Okay. And then Patrick can tell them, hey, look, if we're seeing this coverage where you got man, this is what I'm expecting out of you. And you can't just do it this time. It's got to be all the time. It's got to be consistent. We all got to be on the same page. Okay. You can't be out here tricking me, running your own route, but also too, why are you not getting open? If I'm in there and I'm the wide receiver coach, hey, man, why are you not getting open? I'm going to get in somebody's tail about some stuff. I'm like, this right here is not okay. This is not championship football what we're running here, And I'd immediately challenge Sky Moore, MVS, Justin, every single guy in that room, okay? Same thing with Justin Ross. Hey, everybody talking about how many catches you made, the great catch you got with the bread basket and all. Everybody was on your back and talking about you, the new thing out here. Where you at now? Where you at now? Well, now we need you, okay? Now you're not a rookie. This is your second year. Now it's time for you to step up. So that's what I would do, as a coach. I'm already bringing my coach out of me.
I want to play receiver for you now.
Oh, man. Hey, look, I'll get you ready, Teja. Believe me.
Hey, I don't know about that. Ready to get my hamstring massage on the sideline after 3 plays.
Yeah, this guy's even like playing flag football with me, JD. I try to get him to come out. He doesn't do that. He plays pickup basketball. That's about it.
I can't work myself back into it, dude. I go out there and I want to like dive and go all out, man. I'll get injured. I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow's our grading show, our Monday morning tight end show. But we never usually grade officials. The officials were a big hot topic tonight. We already mentioned the safety that was in the field of play, not in the end zone. They called it a safety. That's when the run started to happen. As I said, Zach Wilson took Mahomes' powers. He got space jammed Patrick Mahomes after that safety play, because they just look like two totally different quarterbacks after that. But then later on in the game, you have the non-horse collar tackle. While the ironic part about that is Brees Hall's got a handful of face masks while they're calling the horse collar on our guy. So JD, what would you grade the officiating tonight? Now, obviously, there's a lot of calls going both sides tonight as well. But what would you grade overall the officiating?
I give them maybe a C- is what I'm gonna give them. For the life of me, I don't quite understand that you got enough time. You got an earpiece, okay? Somebody talking to you. Why certain calls you can't make when you come together? When you get in that little group, somebody up top should be telling you, like, look, here's the rules. New York should be calling. I mean, they're right in New York. They should be talking to those guys right now to say, look, you know what? That is the rule. We got to play within what the rules say. So that call that you made is not okay. It's not right. Okay. And you got to reverse that call. You take enough time to do that, to get into the huddle to talk about these things over. Why not have at least a system in place that covers you to make sure that you get that call right, especially when you come together to do that, right? And so even when those guys came together, they got it wrong. Like, we've seen two wrong calls. Didn't go the Chiefs' way. And it's just like, hey, man, like, who are you talking to? You're talking to somebody else who didn't see it? And sometimes they're like, look, I don't know. I didn't see it really. So what do you think? And so that's how it seems to be sometimes, some of these calls, what they make it. So
Tej, your thoughts on the officiating tonight? Were you amongst the Chiefs Kingdom crowd online?
I think it was all around bad. I'll say it was all around bad. Jets fans can be pissed off about certain calls. We can get pissed off about certain calls. Like I told my Jets fan friend, it's just all different points of the game, right? Like the magnifying glass, it gets more intensified as the game goes on. So any call missed late is a huge deal. But that same call in this first quarter, no one's talking about that as much, right? So we got screwed mostly in the first half with the safety. And I think Terry McCauley tried to explain that, JD.
Yeah.
He was saying they said it started, but they added a nice twist of, he didn't start twisting or pulling it to the – it was like – and
crazy.
even Collinsworth was like, okay. Like, really? I've never heard that. I never heard it twisted like that before. Yeah,
He added to it. As soon as he said that, he added to it then. It's like,
oh, yeah, he was like, well, they said I'm being told the twisting didn't start to the end zone. It was like, so he grabbed it, but he didn't move until it was in the end zone. So that makes it, it's like, whatever. I mean, you guys can twist it any way you want to twist it.
Yeah.
And then the horse collar one, not only was it not a horse collar, which is pretty obvious because the ref was right there when his left arm fell off of his back. He started to grab him, then fell off, and then he only grabbed from the front. He missed Hall's grabbing his face mask and putting it off. I was like, so not only is it not a penalty for him, you could have called the penalty there. I mean, yeah, a lot of people, my Jets fan friend was complaining about holding on Mahomes' long run. And then the last call, the hold on the MVS play. Look, don't call those end of games. I'm so tired of hearing that. It's a call. If the Chiefs got away with that at the end of the game, everyone would be saying the refs won it for us. They're saying it about us anyway, really. But it's a call. It's a call in the game. You got to make the call just because it's important. Because like I said, even Philly fans after the Super Bowl, if you allow that, then what's the precedent you're setting? It's okay because the Chiefs are really good. You get to mug them before the ball comes.
Then you might as well not make any calls at the end at all.
None.
What's the point of it? Because then what I would do if I'm the defensive guy, I'm going to hold him. Well, you should make that call. Okay, well, see, I know that, right? Now I know that's the precedent. Like you said, they said it. Oh, well, they ain't going to call it at the end. So go ahead and do whatever you want to do. That's silly. That's a silly argument to make. So the refs still had to do their job. And it was blatantly holding. He held MVS's shoulder. We know that. We've seen that. And so, hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We didn't get all the calls we wanted. Matter of fact, more calls went against us than it did against the Jets. So that's the way I look at it.
I've heard professional referees talk about that too, and they're like, you can't change the way you're trained. It's like not pulling someone over for blatantly running a red light at midnight when there's no one on the road. Still a friggin' infraction. You still can't do that. refs can't pick and choose. Oh, what's the score? How much time's left? Oh, I can't call this now. Like it's so fast. They're trained to say that's a call, flag. That's a call, flag. That's it. They're not trained to consider the score and the spread and how much time's left. And will Wilson get the ball one last time to tie the Chiefs? Like they're not thinking about all that crap that we're thinking about when we watch the game. It's a bang bang. I hate that. It's a bang bang play. They see an infraction, they call a penalty, and that's it.
Yeah, they got to be completely objective as, hey, look, I'm just making the call. It's just what it is, right, during this time. Like you said, I'm not taking any of these things into consideration, all right? If he held him, he held him. That's what I got my eyes seen. I got to call it. So,
yeah.
So Silas, he going down and going as crazy as he wanted to. I'm sitting there, man, get off the field. You can be mad as you want. I don't care. This game's over. So be it, all right? You can be pissed off. You can cuss us out. You need to do what you want to do. Fine, whatever. Doesn't matter, okay? So
yeah, ref's job's hard enough. They can't really be being the event planner or whatever, making sure everyone's happy with the outcome and all that stuff, and making sure it's entertainment. I mean, that's not their job. Their job is to call the penalties and call the stuff on the field. That's it. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't, but they're not considering who's having fun, who's liking the game, and is going to keep people watching. That's not their job.
I did see when he was sitting over talking about the intentional ground. He remember he kept saying intentional ground. I said, man, if they give him this call, he's going to talk them right into this call. And man, they did.
They said Mahomes was in the ref huddle, like saying, pretty much pleading his case, his version of what Salah was doing.
What you got to do? I'm telling you, that's what you have to do. You have to do that. You have to plead your case as much as possible. They tell you, get out of here. Well, you still can hear me. No, it's not intentional ground. I was told the 10 over there. I was told the Pacheco. He was in the vicinity. You just got to keep saying it, So.
All right, guys. Well, Chiefs come away with a 23-20 win and at MetLife Stadium. Mahomes' first time at MetLife. You could say forgettable night as far as statistics go, but he got a win, so it doesn't matter. And again, sorry for all you guys who took Chiefs 9.5, and Mahomes didn't get that rushing touchdown for you at the end. But hopefully next week the fireworks will happen in Minnesota when Mahomes plays a team that doesn't really have a good defense, so you might be getting his numbers next week to make up for what he did this week, and maybe an offensive explosion for the rookies.
Good. We need some of that. We need a team that we need to grow on even more. I told you this was a great challenge for us. Okay, so that's you can assess where you are as far as wide receiver wise, offensively, where you are. So this is a good game for us to look at the film, check it out, go through everything. Okay, this is great film to correct by coaches, by players, by everybody. And two, because I said this as well. Why the heck can we not get our returner to get yards? The guy that's covering the guys, the gunners on the outside, we need to do a much better job. That, to me, that's ridiculous. We don't have chances returning the football. That's part of the problem is we want to set our offense up in good field position, and we're not allowed to do it if our special team's not doing their job. That's all I wanted to say. So
my closing thought, Pacheco, 20 for 115. I did a quick check. I might be wrong, but when he gets double-digit carries, he's only gone under 4 yards per carry twice dating back to last season.
Damn. Just keep feeding him.
It's a machine, man. I love it. It's a machine.
Once we find that nice balance between our passing attack and our rushing attack, it's going to be deadly. And then also keeping our defense fresh, so they're on the field every 4 plays.
Right.
Yeah. So, and we can get it all together. But, yep. So, thanks, everyone, for tuning in to Chief Concerns post-game reaction show. For those of you who are first-time viewers, definitely go to our YouTube channel, Chief Concerns. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Check us out on Chief Concerns. And we'll be back here tomorrow for a Monday morning tight end show where JD breaks down the grades of all the different position groups of this game.
I love all the chat on the side. I love all of it. I'm reading every bit of it, man. I love it all. So I see all of y'all here to talk Ish and all these guys. Okay, y'all keep coming back.
Yeah, man, it's fun.
Yes, it is.
Sure. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Later, guys.
Or I guess today. Later on.
All right, fellas. All right, y'all have a good night now. See you,
buddy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, Subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.